And we are live. How's that sound? Sound work? Cool. Checking out a new mic, so give me a second. But welcome back to Lazy Sunday Gaming. I'm excited to be back. We're officially live again. This is kind of a way for me to paint through my Bokur Brawl list. We're painting Gearheart today. I understand that this camera we're looking at right now is probably very blue, but I can't change the settings on this camera, so until I can figure that out, I'm going to look like I'm in a David Fincher movie from the 2000s. Looks pretty crazy, but let's lean into it. Anyways, I'm word spewing because I'm so excited to be back on live. We haven't done live in a long time, minus yesterday's video. So we're officially back. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk to you guys while I paint some miniatures. We're going to work through my Bokur Brawl list so that I have a painted army in time and I'm not embarrassed by my gray plastic. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to ramble today. We're going to talk as I paint this. Few things. Let's get some ideas off the books. First off, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you like the music that we're playing. It's supposed to be a chill, lo-fi, like Celtic beat. It's a little more chill than I think I wanted, but that's the music we're going to go with today, so I hope you enjoy it. I'll post a link somewhere to the actual playlist if you do really like it. But it's lo-fi, it's Celtic, it's Irish. Fitting that we're painting Crucible Guard today, because today we'll be doing like a lot of greens and blues, which, you know, St. Patrick's Day. Next up, I wanted to say that the tribe for War Machine Tribes has officially gone up today. War Machine 3D has released their tribe for, forgot the name of it. They're going to get in trouble for not remembering the name, but basically it's Convergence of Cirrus, Infernals, and Grimkin. I believe if you buy all three, it's $300. If you buy just one, it's $150, but $150 for an entire list that you can print as much as you want. It's a pretty good deal. So if you're looking to get in, if any of those armies, which are highly thematic armies, are your shtick, I'd go for it, because it's a heck of a way in. So yeah, get on there, get on War Machine 3D, buy that tribe, get in early so it doesn't cost you much more later. I think the $300 for two armies or $300 for three armies is a pretty good deal if you can swing it. Pricey for some, but not for others. Get in on that because those armies are cool. I don't think I'll ever play them, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who will. If you do play those armies, please let me know in the comments, so we have a lot of things to talk about. Lastly, we did a live yesterday, which was our first official live back, with me and Evan talking about our big 500 subscriber giveaway. So we did the giveaway yesterday. It was I believe it's Maxime Saint Marie. They just emailed me. I got their information. They're in Quebec, so we'll be sending out this box to beautiful Quebec, and hopefully we help to bring back some Quebec War Machine players. I know when they commented on our thing, they said that they would. They commented on our video. They said that they would be sharing this with a group to try to get a big games day going on in April. So, Maxime, if you get to see this, if you're watching this, thank you for joining our giveaway. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope that this does what basically our Lazy Sunday mission is to grow War Machine one player at a time. So, you've got two armies that you can grow that player base with. So without further ado, I think that's enough looking at my crazy blue Fincher face. Look at that. Yeah. That guy's looking pretty crazy. If the mic is low, let me know. I've got a mic right here that, you can see this guy right here. It should be really good. The one yesterday I heard was a little quiet, but I think I'm feeling good about this one today. So, let's get into it. We're going to be painting Baldwin Gearhart. He's one of my favorite models. Pretty stoked on this guy because he's everything I love about like Jules Verne kind of stylistic choices. The Crucible Guard has always been a favorite army for me. I started playing the game in like 2015-16, and to my knowledge, to what I remember, my weird hazy just started playing wargaming knowledge, Crucible Guard was starting to get released then, or at least hyped up then, and it was the first time I got a taste of new model hype. You know, when like a new thing comes out and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like Warhammer does it every week. It's one of those. That was the first time I got that taste. It was when they started releasing cool Crucible Guard stuff, and I was like, this is cool. I have no one to talk about it with. The one person I played War Machine with couldn't care, but I was posting everywhere about these new releases. And so, coming back to the game in 2023, when Crucible Guard started getting hyped again, it gave me that taste of what it was early on to play Crucible Guard, which got me stoked. So now that I can play them as a viable Mark IV army, gets me really excited, and so I'm in gun ho. They're a very affordable option You could buy, if you're part of the War Machine 3D, it's half off to buy all the files. And the more I have it, the more I can print. So I've pretty much printed most of my Bokur Brawl list. I printed an Interceptor last night. I'm most of the way there. And we're going to work through it. But I'm excited. Gearheart himself is one of my favorites because I love, again, the Jules Verne kind of mad science look. And he fits that adventure club in New York, that adventurers club where they go to like Everest, or they go across the world to adventure and all that. And he's got that vibe. He's got the mustache, which maybe I should, if I'm playing Gearheart, I think I should probably do that mustache for Bokur Brawl. I've done it before. I'll post pictures online. I'll do it again. Don't tempt me. I'll do it again. So maybe I do that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Should I do the Gearheart mustache for Bokur Brawl? Do you think that'll make me roll better, even if it is our first event? Gearheart mustache, yes or no? Let me know. Comments below. I'm live watching the comments, so kind of excited for that one. Maybe I will do that. I'm a little stoked now. A little excited. But yeah, have you ever watched like there's a Disney movie, and there's a character named Clade. It's Strange Worlds, I think. And Clade is Kurt Russell, who's one of my all-time favorite actors. Basically plays exactly what Gearheart looks like, but in a weird dad version. So for me, as we get into this, Gearheart is very much everything I love about science fiction mixed in with everything I love about Kurt Russell, mixed in with everything I love about facial hair, mixed in with this cool Strange Worlds aesthetic. So we're going to get into it right now. We're going to jump in. I don't think you want to look at my face much more. We've got miniatures to look at. So let's get to it. I'm going to try to get used to this talking to the camera live. Usually I get into a Zen mode and I'll zone out, and all you'll listen to is Celtic lo-fi by yourself. So I'm going to keep talking because I think it helps us. I think it will fill the hour, and hopefully we do this well enough that I can do it again in a week, and then we do it the week after, and then we keep doing it the week after, and the week after, and the week after, and then by Bokur Brawl in May, I will fully painted army, because nothing motivates me, a good Catholic Irish boy, than shame. Nothing motivates me more than shame. And if I miss a live stream, I feel like I should be shamed, and that will get me moving. So if you're watching this live stream with me, if you're in on it, let me know, and shame me to finishing it. Because if you enjoy it, we can enjoy it together. And let's just get into it. I'm going to hit the big magic button that's going to turn on to the top-down camera. Here we go. Face is going away in 3, 2, 1. Boop! Here we go. Only hands. I'm going to take this moment so I can look at our comments here. Bokur Broadcast. Who is that? Is that Seth or is that Steve? Wow, my face actually, my YouTube channel is a little more delayed than my actual broadcast, and I am now looking back at my face just talking, and I look insane on that camera angle. I'm gonna have to fix that camera. That is nuts, guys. Let me turn the music up just a little bit. If it's too loud, you let me know. Maybe it's about the same level. Let me turn it down a little bit more. Okay. And we'll get to working on this guy. Seth, dear God, Seth, I'm doing it now. Now that you're here and you're watching along with me, Seth, I'm going to send you some pictures. I did a hockey tournament like 2 years ago, and I went full in on this mustache look. Let's see if we can see it real close. I went full in on this look, and I would say I did really good at that tournament. So maybe the play here is to do mustaches for the win. Maybe it'll distract my opponent into not realizing I'm bad at this game. Okay, let me turn on the secondary camera. okie dokie. Here we go. Got a little picture of Baldwin, Mr. Baldwin Gearhart. We got a little picture of my paint setup here. We're in a whole new world today, guys. Okay, let's start off. I think the easiest way to do this, especially because it's St. Patrick's Day, we'll start off painting our greens, which this has been like a hard argument for me for a while. And the easy answer that everyone always gives me is they're your minis, paint them whatever color you want, but I really like the green of Crucible Guard. I really like the green of Crucible Guard, so I've tried my best to match it without getting the actual Eldritch green from P3. Not for any other reason than there's no P3 paints around here. I've tried getting them from Steamforged Games, but it's on me that I haven't really followed through with them. They're very giving. But to me, when you look at Crucible Guard, they look teal, right? They look, when you look at them, like a green teal, which is Eldritch green. But every other company doesn't really make a paint that exactly matches Eldritch green, which is frustrating. So the closest I've gotten is either this green skin is close, but then it kind of takes away the blue of the teal. So in my heart, do I go with the teal that I kind of love, or do I try to keep it closer? Now the issue with this is that I've already painted, so if we get his picture, I've already painted Lucas the Hammerless, because they keep breaking, in this kind of blue teal, and because I kind of really like it, even though it doesn't match the lore, I think this is the color we're going to stay with going forward, which means even though it's St. Patrick's Day, this beautiful green skin armor is going to be gone, and we're just going to go with our Temple Gate teal. Seth, if there is Eldritch green, even though I will have a fully painted army by then, if shame has its way, then I will buy some at Bokur Brawl. But until then, we're going to go with this Temple Gate teal. If I really decide I don't like it, we'll mix the green skin wherever I threw it back in and try to get like a middle ground. Teal is technically blue and green. It is St. Patrick's Day. We're keeping true to the theme. I'm going to take a quick break to put some gloves on, because my new habit is painting with gloves on, because if not, I will paint all over my skin. And then you have to look at my gross hands. So, glove up! Hey there, Joey. All the guilts are good guilts. All guilts are equal. It's a good thing I'm not practicing Irish Catholic, or else I can make these jokes. I grew up in Catholic school. Alright, let's start off throwing in, I like working from dark to light, the way I paint. A lot of people like the Games Workshop method of painting the base color and then working up and down. I like working down to up. I think it works with my brain. I'm a crazy film photographer, so it's not because one is better than the other. It's always because my brain needs the extra work to make it work. So we're going to start off with, and I firmly believe that a lot of your paint job will live or die by the shadows you start with. So we're going to start with this Incubi Darkness from Games Workshop. Citadel, I don't know what they're calling their paints now. I'm never going to buy Citadel paint again, so I'm not going to worry about it. Seth, I use gloves for painting because I have a really bad habit of painting directly onto my hand, like this. And by the end of the day, I'll go pick up my kid and I'll have hands covered in paint. It's not good for your skin, etc. never been a big concern of mine, but I use them when I airbrush, and I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, so it's kind of in the habit of doing it. Also, when we do live streams and videos like this, I have a lot of videos of me painting. I have to stare at my hands all the time, and my anxiety goes through the roof when I have to look at my own nails, which have a pinkish purple color, which makes me feel like I'm dying all the time. So if I'm being deadly honest, I paint with gloves because it's good for my skin not to be covered in paint, and it's good for my anxiety not to be looking at my hands on camera. I hope that answers the question. We're going to slowly pick out all of the green armor on this thing. I also haven't really painted in a while, so maybe painting on a live stream was not the best option, but we'll see how it goes. Also, we did like the live stream yesterday for like 10 minutes. It was a quick live stream. We popped in, we popped out. I might have to use gloves. I haven't painted, or glasses. I haven't painted in such a long time. But we did a live stream yesterday, and people started asking questions about War Machine. And I was like, we're just here. No, I don't need those. We're just here for the reveal. And all I want to do is sit there and chat with people. So if you have things to talk about, I think it'll help our hour go by a little bit faster. Like, are you going to play Infernals? Are you going to buy the new Infernal Army? And by new, I mean the 3D printed files. If you're going to Bokur Brawl, me and Seth are both here apparently. What army are you bringing to Bokur Brawl? For me, I'm obviously bringing Crucible Guard. I'll be bringing, as far as it's planned, I'll be bringing a tandem of Gearheart, who is, I think, the favorite right now, and Locke, who is the opposite. No one seems to want to play Locke but me. I don't know that she's good, or I don't know if it's just me arguing that I can make a not good list good, even though I'm not relatively good at the game. But my Lock'em Sock'em Robots list will be there. Dude, I am the exact same way, Seth, with, sorry if I'm calling you out as Seth, but I think it's pretty obvious. Priming in black really messes with my eyes as well, picking out all the details. Luckily, War Machine models are a little easier to do it with than Warhammer models, but that's literally the only reason why I'll usually Zenithal, is not for any added thing other than being able to see what the hell I'm doing with my eyes. However, when I prime gray and I miss spots, the gray always calls me out, and I don't like getting bullied by my paint, so I tend to stay away from gray. I have it, I'll use it, I'll usually Zenithal for that reason, just so it adds some contrast, but personally, I know it'll drive me nuts. If you think my hand anxiety is bad, wait till you see me find one gray spot when we're on the tabletop. Okay. I'll say I wake up every morning because I'm currently fun employed. It's a film industry thing. It's not anything to worry about. And I turn on my podcast to listen to for the day. And I'm sad every day when the Bokur broadcast does not have a new episode. I don't think I'm making any enemies when I say that it is my favorite. Unless Arcane Precision wants to come out and, argue with me. But then they'd have to come on here and talk to me while I'm painting. And same for Riker. So we are just working on doing a dark base coat of this Incubi Darkness blue-green across the board, and then it'll give me the ability to layer up from there to the brighter greens and blues. I generally work in the film industry. My background is in lighting and camera, so a lot of the way my brain function comes down to lighting volumes. So being able to know where the shadows are first builds the depth of the look to me. Even if I'm just painting everything in this color and then building over it, but I think building light onto shadows kind of makes my brain work better. If anyone can make that happen, Seth, it is you, my friend. Let me know. I'll try not to be so sarcastic. Also, if anybody is around tomorrow night, so Lazy Sunday is not just a YouTube channel. We are also a gaming community in South Brooklyn. We're a game store and a YouTube channel. They don't always mix, but they are based in the same thing. Every other week we do a War Machine night at City League Coffee Roasters in Bay Ridge, which is half a mile walk from my home. We go in, we have the run of the place. They're nice enough to let us lock up after, and it's kind of a speakeasy vibe because the store's not really open where they're playing. But if you ever want to get a game in and you're in South Brooklyn and you're watching this video, or you're in Brooklyn at all, we're kind of the only real War Machine group inside of New York City. There's one more in Manhattan, but they're small and they're growing. But if you're watching this and you're in New York and you said, hey, I really want to try that War Machine game, come find us. We play every other week. It's usually Thursdays, but this week it'll be Wednesday. Yeah, let me know. We'd love to see you. We'd love to grow the game. We pride ourselves on growing one play at a time. I think Joe is in this group chat. Joe's been kicking my butt for the last month at War Machine, trying to make me better. It's a never-ending combat of Joe beating me and then me trying to get better. How's this little paint camera going? It definitely should be up higher so you can see down into it, but I think it's at least doing its job for right now. Let me see the comments. Sick. Seth, I'm sure you're gone already. You've got kids to teach. You got minds to mold. But thank you for coming in and talking with me today. Honestly, this chat cast comes down to like, who wants to talk to me for an hour while I guilt myself into painting minis. I was lucky enough to finally print my second Interceptor yesterday. Second of two. For my Bokur Brawl list. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my football background or the way my brain works, but I love the idea of being able to block objectives and force you into doing my game plan. So a lot of my lists center around big bodies keeping you off objectives. So my interceptors, which are absolute crowd clearers, are there to do that. If anyone is watching this stream right now, trying to plan out how to beat me at Bokur Brawl, don't do that. I've got enough trouble. Just close your ears and watch me paint. That was kind of a dumb comment. Anyways, I'm really stoked though, because I painted... Oh, it's out of focus. I printed a bunch of bases yesterday for my interceptors. Let me pull this one out quick, because I'm really excited about this. So, I know we took a break from this, but it's a medieval road kind of vibe. It's supposed to be like Lail, but these bases are so sick. I mean, I got the same one on Gearheart here. Focus. With a little bit of K-Door shields added in. But I love this base. I'm really stoked for it. Joe, who I believe is in the chat. Hey there, Joe. Basically gave me a bunch of K-Door bits, which I'm going to litter all over this base. I'm going to litter all over these bases because it just gives you that vibe of liberating Lail. Hold on, let me pull out my interceptor because honestly the way it sits on this base is so cool that it makes me really excited. Where did you go? My interceptor. Where did you go? I wanna know. Oh no. Oh, here you go. See, it's weird when it's live because you guys can't cut out me singing or me roaming around looking for things. So, here's my first interceptor. Clearly not finished either. That'll be its own video, but he's going to sit kind of like this, where like the wheels are popped up in the air as he goes over this flag here, which I'm really excited about. If the primer is rubbing off, that's completely okay, because I primed this an hour ago, so there's no way it's sealed. I'll just redo it. But pretty stoked. It's all gonna look cool. This medieval road looking like French styled Lail is sick. There's this here, I put like a K-Door head in there. You can't really see it, it's not gonna focus. But what's up with this focus, dude? You're supposed to be better than that. Okay. Let's get back to painting. Okay. I can see who's in the chat. However, I'm hoping that people after the fact come back and watch this video because they missed out and they're like, oh man, Lazy Sunday was live. Let me watch him paint and talk to Seth Cohen. So I'm going to keep talking as if there's more people here. And maybe by the time all this comes together, we'll have like, I don't know, 20 viewers on a Tuesday afternoon while everyone's working. That arm's looking pretty good. Can I zoom in any further? No, it's all the way. What I could do is this, though. Yeah. Could always move the camera closer. Luckily, my hands don't really leave this spot. I've gotten really good at painting in place. When I first started painting War Machine, I asked people for like I'm usually a Warhammer painter. What advice do you have for painting War Machine? And I started with Chimera, and somebody said, good luck painting Chimera. You need to know where the plates and the body and the flesh all mix, and sometimes there's not an answer. And looking at any War Machine mini, I start to get that vibe. I mean, what's black on here? You guys can see Gearheart right here. I need to look at that reference and just kind of pick out what I've got. Joe, what do you think of the music while I've got you? Is it cool? Is it vibing? I think it turned off. Did it turn off? We're just lucky that it's not Blood of Cuculate on repeat. This stream should have just been me drinking Guinness and staring into camera talking about all my favorite War Machine armies. War Machine Army 1, Crucible Guard. War Machine Army 2, Crucible Guard, but in pink. Joe, if I go to Bokur Brawl and it gets Seth's wishes, I wear this Gearheart mustache. And you play Anson Wolf, which I'm assuming is on your lists, your duos, because he's awesome. Do you think you would match my mustache? Do they look similar? Does he not have shoulder armor in that photo? Oh, it's black. Oh, I'm not doing that. This armor's staying green. I already painted it green. I need to address this really quickly. Is this not the biggest stash I can? If I get rid of all this, what we got over here? Right here. I can make it bigger. It'll get bigger. We've got time. It's May. We're gonna go back to this. Okay. For anybody watching this video after the fact or joining in, one of my good friends, Joe Ritchie, is currently also on the chat. If I say Joe, it's Joe, but what's more important is that you can go online and find Joe Ritchie at Joe Ritchie Studios on YouTube, where he also paints miniatures. Not as many War Machine miniatures as he should, and he knows better. But that's his own private shame, and he'll have to live with that. So I'm learning this live stream game. I hope that I've been able to talk my way through this hour. We got plenty of time left, or else, no, never finish painting this miniature. But, because I'm a slow painter. I've been watching a lot of YouTube to try to get myself amped up for being live again. And I've noticed the kids call it chat. Should I not be talking to people individually? Should I just be calling it chat? Joe, do you want to be called chat? Hey, yo, chat. How's my mini looking? Out of focus. I wonder if it's getting confused because of my gloves. We'll get rid of them. You guys can stare at my diseased hands. My other thing is that I do a lot of videos for other companies. And so if I put gloves on, you never know that they're my hands. Would be the other thing. But those videos have not come out yet. So I think I'm safe. I'm going to remind the chat that War Machine Tribes, War Machine 3D, is dropping their tribe today. $300 for 3 armies, $150 for 1 army if you don't want all 3. I think it's a great deal. Grimkin, Cirrus, and Infernals are all great armies. I don't think I'll ever play them because they're confusing to play, and I don't need that energy in my life. I'm bad enough at this game already. But if you want to play them and you're looking for a way in, jump on that War Machine Tribe train early and you won't have to pay much later. $150 for an entire army list that you can print as many times as you want is a pretty good deal. I think I've definitely paid more for that in Crucible Guard models. I do wish that they just did this with Crucible Guard also. I do think, and they're going to hate me for this, if we're trying to market to people saying, hey y'all, here's an easy buy-in, Infernal's probably not the best army for it. You know, there's 3 armies that basically make up their own rules, as if you're not even playing War Machine. Maybe those aren't the 3 armies you want to market to beginners. But I've said this deep enough in the cast that I don't think I'll get in trouble. We are slowly but surely getting there. It is hard painting this with just the black primer, because really seeing the difference in armor plates is getting difficult. And I know I'm going to finish this, and then later on I'm going to find one armor plate. I'm going to be so mad. Oh, hey there, Nick. Nick, we decided, Nick is also a part of our Lazy Sunday club, group, store, etc. monstrosity. For viewers who are not part of it. But, Nick, we decided while you weren't here that we decided while you weren't here that if I play Gearheart or Bokur Brawl, which is the plan, that I would have to trim my mustache to look like him. I don't have the capacity to bring up side by side, but I do have Gearheart here. I do have my face here. If I keep to this side of the screen, yeah. What do you think? Gearheart, Cory? Yeah. There's a scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin in which he paints miniatures. And he's painting a soldier and he goes, "I'm painting your red pants blue." And my brother sends me that scene once a year to remind me how nerdy I am. And as I paint this man's pants blue, I can't help but giggle in my head. Oh, I'll accessorize, man. I'll accessorize. I mean, if I had unlimited time and money, I'd probably come cosplay in as Crucible Guard. If you have not seen the pictures from last year's Bokur Brawl, Evan, our producer Evan, came dressed as a Black 13th character. As we get closer to Bokur Brawl, I will be plastering that as much as I can. I'm painting your black pants blue. As I do this series more and more and I paint other characters within War Machine, I want to make like a cheat sheet of like, here's 10 facts that are cool about this character. And so as I work through the hour, I could at least get through like 6 of them if I don't do longer than an hour. It's like every 10 minutes, do a cool fact. Some characters, especially like Crucible Guard, where it's not fully fleshed out, you know, they didn't get the stories that Kane got, are a little harder with the 10 fun facts about War Machine. Because I tried to do that, and there's literally the same blurb across 3 different books about Gearheart. But my favorite fact about Gearheart, besides he is kind of just a terrible jerk, but a cool jerk, is that his most trusted advisor, or his most trusted assistant, Mr. Clog, died during Hedgehold, during that battle. And so when he died, Mr. Gearheart, not knowing any better and not thinking of anyone else but himself, just got a new one. And because it'd be harder for him to remember names, he just named him also the same name, Mr. Cog. Mr. Cog, Mr. Clog. I can't remember if there's an L in there. I'm just as bad as he is. But he just continues on every time his assistant dies. He just names him the same name and he keeps going. from what I read in the Steamforged Games lore that they released when they released this army, was that the current one, the current iteration of Mr. Cog, I'm going to say both, so you can't say I'm wrong, is like an emissary from like Signar, who came over to talk to them, and he just didn't listen to him at all, and just handed him a weapon and said, "Here you go, carry my gun." And the guy's just too timid to say otherwise. Which is like a very Kurt Russell kind of character, you know. Growing up a hockey player, I think all hockey players will say this, that Kurt Russell is probably all of our father figures. So painting Gearheart really fulfills this for me. I feel like I'm doing a service to my fake actor dad. Thank you, Kurt Gearhart. Baldwin Russell. Believe all that right there. If you can see where I'm working, should be pants. I think I've got most of the armor done. The base coat with a lot of this is so hard because it's just separating things out. That's armor and what's pants. My big question, not being a combat veteran or anything like that, if you're wearing all this armor, what is underneath that? Is it just black pants? Do they have special supported pants? What if you get shot in that one spot and there's no armor? You could have had armor, but instead you wanted pants? Are they zip-off pants? Okay, so we did start this stream at 11-ish. It is only supposed to be an hour, but all I've done is one color. And that seems highly unproductive. So I'm going to try to work my way through as much green as I can. Do a hard cut off at like 12:30 maybe. But I do think this has been very productive. If anything, I got to ramble to chat Joe. Maybe I'll just do the Gearheart thing. Maybe that's got to be the way to go. Joe, I don't know if you're still in here or what, but I think instead of saying chat from now on, I'm just going to say Joe from now on, as if my chat's name is Joe, and as if I'm always talking to you, Joe. So chat, if you hear me say Joe, I'm talking to chat, not Joe specifically. Maybe it'll catch on with the youngins. But staying true to Gearheart energy, all chat from now on will be Joe, unless specifically otherwise. Unless it's Seth. Yeah, dude, every Tuesday, chat Joe will be here, streaming my way through. I can't promise it'll be Gearheart next week. Really depends on how far I get with him painting him this week. I've got a lot of videos and photography to do for my new job that I should be doing. But I'm doing this. Chat Joe. Chat Joe BT. My problem is the more I get into this character, the more I'm just going to be him, and my friends and family will not be happy. I think I covered all the armor. I think I did it. There might be some butt armor, but I think I can get away with that. I have this firm rule that if you have a friend that'll pick up your miniature on the tabletop, flip it upside down, and say, "Oh man, you missed this painted spot," that's not your friend. I've had certain friends do that to me recently at War Machine Night. I got so mad at them that I had to leave the country for Sweden. Don't fact check that. But Real friends don't flip over friends' miniatures and say you missed a spot. Chat Joe. Yeah, I think I'm good. There's like little spots, but that's why we prime in black. Because the little spots are always going to be in the groin area. And if they're black, no one will know. And it'll create a nice gradient shadow between my missed opportunities. Oh no, of course this whole knee is missing over here. I really don't want to end this stream without getting to another layer of green. Because I feel like, if not, you guys just watch me base coat for an hour. I see our chat has gone up in numbers. Our Joe has gone up in numbers. Chat Joe, if you're here, there's new people. Sound out. Oh, hey. Speaking of favorite YouTube pages, Pulsegate Gaming is here. If you guys are confused and just hopping in, I decided that in true Gearheart form, I will no longer be calling my chat, but I will be calling it Joe unless otherwise need to be noted. So that I always feel like I'm talking to my friend Joe. Just like Gearheart is always talking to Mr. Cog. I want like a nice deep lore story where Gearheart only does that because it's how he emotionally gets through losing his closest friend. And it's not that he's a jerk, but it's that he's disassociative and just needs it. So he doesn't break down over the horrors of war. Pulsegate, I know that you're out. And God, it's weird that I don't know your real name. I know you say it in every opening. I feel bad about this now. Anyways, we'll go by your channel name. I know that you're out in Utah, I believe, or the West Coast somewhere. But are you coming to Bokur Brawl? I know that sounds crazy, but I think they even have like a team from Vancouver come out. Bokur Brawl is like the one event because it's so close to New York City. Like I really get to do that in PAX, so I will push going to Bokur Brawl as much as I can. I will be Seth's biggest fan. Well, that should be like a nice blue in there. Oh no. Dude, sorry, my chat's a little bit behind on my thing. I love the chemical warfare mechanic. This is why I need a chat, so I have things to talk about. I love the chemical warfare mechanic for Crucible Guard. It makes you think about the game differently, because I, until playing Crucible Guard, never cared about... Let's do this to the face. Oh no, my camera's dead. Okay. Well, we're going to stay on this camera then. I, as a War Machine player, never really cared about putting conditions on other models. It wasn't a thing that I went through. I had to make a cheat sheet to remember what the conditions do. But playing, it's like playing Magic, where like all of a sudden you have a new commander, a new list, or a new deck, and you have to figure out that mechanic. So playing Crucible Guard, putting conditions on other creatures and having to make that stick, or having to worry about your order of operations so that you can make it the most effective, really sticks with me with Crucible Guard. It really makes me excited because it's just like, oh, I have to think about this differently. I have to go sideways to accomplish the goals. I can't just shoot everything and kill everything like it's Warhammer. And that gets me so excited. The thing that I hate about chemical warfare, which is annoying, is they got rid of the ability to keep conditions on models with the update, which I guess was overpowered. I don't know about overpowered. I never get to see that side. But I wish they kept that. That's strictly the reason why I'm playing Locke as one of my main lists for Bokur Brawl, because Locke has a 14-inch command control range. Because her range is 14 inches and she can move in and not be squishy, I can put her in the center of the board with Apollo, who makes her range 2 more inches, and she could have a 16-inch control range, which chemical warfare wise is just doubling all that damage. So if I can pour on conditions with my like railless interceptors or any of those, or the triumvirate, they're always going to fall within that 16-inch circle. So like, I love chemical warfare, and I think that's the center of all my lists. I still don't know how to play Gearheart. I haven't even played with him yet. I just like the way he looks, and I like that I can make a gun line versus my all Warjack line. If you play Crucible Guard, if you're watching this video, if you're here live in my chat, Joe, or you're watching this after the fact, let me know what Crucible Guard you run. Like, what's your Warcaster? Why do you run them? That's my main thought process behind Locke, which everyone seems to think is a bad idea, and I have yet to agree with anyone. I love having a 16-inch control range with a Warcaster that can punch things in the face. On top of having, I'll always run at least 1 or 2 arc nodes, so I can extend her control range and threat range out from there. If you go second and you have like a Liberator out, and you run the Liberator out, and you just like, what's the magic spell that she has? Is it Jackhammer? If you just Jackhammer out, they never see it coming. It's like buying an extra attack or buying extra shots. Okay, so I think getting back to the important part here, I'd like to say that I got all the green, maybe this one little spot here. Now, if I were doing this for like a competition piece, I'd probably do 800 layers, layering between my greens and my blues, instead of what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to jump to the next color. They're close enough that I don't think you'll notice the jump. He needs to look good on the tabletop. He doesn't need to look good for competition. If you want competition, you should watch David Shirley and not me. We have an interview with him coming out soon. I'm really excited for it, but I have to finish that video. But it's exciting. David's a sick painter, and he talks about all of his thoughts on that painting over a cup of coffee with me in Brooklyn. How does he get to Brooklyn? You'll have to watch the video to find out. We're going to move on from that green to my Templegate teal, which is basically, it's a dark base coat. It's a dark main level color, midtone. Midtone's the word I'm looking for. It is a step up from, you see it on the side camera. It is a step up from our Incubi Darkness. Let's see if we can see that. And it's a big step, I guess. Maybe I'll mix a little bit. But this will be basically our mid-tone. And then we'll probably finish with Pharaoh Guard, which is a brighter color. And then probably do something like nice for the highlights. I don't know, this is not it, but something up there that just pops the edges. So Silvestro, whenever I tell people that I'm trying to run Locke as a like spellcasting warcaster, which is kind of what I'm doing. We're trying to subvert expectations by making this Oops All Warjacks list into a spellcasting warcaster, but with a heavy side to it. Everyone tells me, well, why don't you just run Silvestro? Because Silvestro also has the 14-inch range and has spells he can cast. versus most of her stuff just either boosts the Warjacks or allows him to have extra attacks. For me, he's too squishy. For me, I can't wrap my mind around the things he does. But his model is sick. His character is really cool. So at the end of the day, I might end up running him eventually. I think Sylvester is one of the models that I print extra when I print, because I think he's such a cool look into the game as a character. So whenever I'm like introducing new players and I just want to give away a model for free, I'll hold on to a Sylvester model and be like, well, what do you think about War Machine? Here's a free model from me as your friend. That's how we hooked some of our players. Here's a Sylvester model. Isn't he cool? We're going to move on to Temple Gate Teal. Like I said, mid-tone. Hopefully you can see that on there. I like having this camera. I don't usually have this camera. The colors are a little wild on this Logitech camera, but the idea is that you see me putting the paint down, and I think that's fancy. That's cool. I'm going to throw just a little bit of this Incubi Darkness into the teal and water it down with just a little bit of water. And now we can start working up to our real color, which is not green, it's not blue, it's teal. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Green, blue. So here's my thing. Pulsegate. There are not a lot of kit bash videos, and I'm also currently working on one. I would keep it more top secret if I weren't such a slow editor. But there's not enough War Machine kit bashing. I think that with the new generation of War Machine content creation, the new generation of War Machine players, Steamforge Games is really leaning on the idea of making the hobby a War Machine thing too. Like, we're not just War Machine players, we also hobby. And I think what we're really missing, and I'm trying to work on it too, and I can give you a little exclusive video that I'm working on, is that there's not enough kit. There's no Pete the War Gamer, you know, for War Machine. I'm trying to do a few videos. I'd love to do a series of those. I've got a couple that I want to do, especially with my Gator lists. But if you're doing a cool kit bash video for your Thunderhead, please do that, because I think we really need it, and we need good ones, and I think your content is fantastic. So if you have that coming, I'm welcoming it. I'm really excited for that. Let me quickly, before I lay the screen down, I'm working on a small video, which not a lot of people know about, in which I am kit bashing my own Zoom-Enoth. It was supposed to be done in time for... This is a secret, but if you watch an hour into this stream video later, you'll see this, and I guess there'll be a little reward for being here. But I'm working on this video. It was supposed to be done before Adepticon. I don't think it will be. But, yeah. Viva la Kit Bash in War Machine. The most Kit Bash I have here is that I removed the original base and I put some Khador shields down, which I think looks pretty cool. I'm a lot about putting stuff into bases. Let's get back to the blue. So I monitor all the comments and stuff on my phone while I do this, which is also not on my like Wi-Fi, which helps my stream stay cleaner, hopefully. But oh, that's an ugly shoulder pad. But my phone is like a whole couple of seconds behind, so if I'm commenting on things like a minute later, it's because it's just popping up on my phone. If we keep this going week to week, I can get better at this, I promise. Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think the new Menoth are going to have dinosaurs? I think Jamie has vehemently said that that is not going to be a thing. I'm going to have a hard time not playing new Menoth, even though I've never been a Menoth fan. Something about it makes me feel like that's going to be the one I buy into because I'm not buying into Kithgard. Um, do you think they'll have dinosaurs? That's a big question. I think it'd be cool to do. I think they lean into the whole zoo thing so much that they have to at least have some zoo flavor. I'd like dinosaurs. I don't think we have enough big. I guess we have Chimera. They're kind of dinosaur-y. No! I'm in this special sort of hell right now where my office is not fully as clean as I want it to be. Luckily, you can only see small spurts of it. But if you hear something clatter, it's because behind me on the floor is way too many things sitting on top of each other. Full armies, and the clutter drives me nuts. There's nowhere else for it. So if you hear me scream or things clatter, it's because I moved my weight a little bit and knocked over like an entire army or something. The last one was my phone. I mean, there's gonna be like giant bats with Nero, so like that's kind of like giant dinosaurs. I'm trying to think lore-wise what a good reason for anything cool coming out of Menoth would be, other than I'm definitely going over this paint a little too much. I'm gonna start stripping my own paint job, but true to form, I haven't painted in like 3 weeks, so why not do it the first time on camera in front of people, where my brush control is not as good as it usually is, and I'm not as watered down. It would be cool, Chimera versus Menoth dinosaurs. I'd like that. Which then would be the question, right? If they have dinosaurs, are we seeing Menoth come back? I guess this is like a bigger, fluid question given the state of the game right now. Is Menoth coming back as a focus army? Or are they coming back as a fury army? If they do have dinosaurs, if Jamie's been lying to us, will those dinosaurs be a fury army? I think if we learned one thing from Mark IV under Steamforged Games is to expect the unexpected. You know, who would have thought there'd be Fury Orgoth? Who would have thought we'd get a Fury Khador army? Whatever you want to call Old Umbry. Don't think Vlad, the prince, fought so hard for you not to call them part of Khador, so, you know. God, these shoulder pads are scratchy, but they are mine. I love them. I'll paint a bunch between now and next week, so next week doesn't look as scratchy. Until then, you'll have to deal with this in my mouth. Let me ask you guys a painting question for you painters out there. This is like one of those weird questions that I think a lot of people kind of sidestep. What is your go-to brush. If you're watching this along, comment in on your go-to brush brand. Mine right now are Artist Loft Vienna. You can get them at Michael's. I've tried so many more expensive brushes, but these ones just hit. And what number? Because I like leaning into a 4, almost to a fault, where I'll be doing details, and I'll convince myself I can hit those details with my 4 brush, and then really need to go down to like a 0 or a 00. But what paintbrush size is your go-to size, painters of the chat? And what brand? Do you go for a fancy pants brand? It's okay if you do. I just want to know. Ooh, baby, we're up to 6. 6 viewers. Let's go. I'll say that as a channel, Lazy Sunday, I'm sitting on about like 3 mostly finished videos that should be coming out. I'm trying to backlog them so I can not have it wait another 3 months like I did for the last videos. But we do have a battle report that is mostly finished. It's about 70%. With Matt O'Brien, Mob, and one of our players, Yeti, Sam, playing the Frozen Forgotten box. It'll be 30 points. But it looks really good. It just slowed down a bit because of life. And my editing computer is not very fast. So the second I finish all the basic work and I start layering in the graphics and intercutting and layering cameras over the top, because we have like 5 cameras on our battle reports, my computer slows down to a crawl and it becomes hard to do anything. I flew back from Seattle once trying to edit it, and I got like nothing done in a 6-hour flight because my laptop just slows down. But we are working on that battle report. That should be done soon. It looks really good. We shot that at Brooklyn Game Night in Industry City in Brooklyn. If you're ever in the area and you're not playing with us, you should definitely be playing with them. They've got a great selection of board games. They do some war gaming. They do a paint night. They're a great place. And they love hosting us for battle reports. So that video should be done soon. We also are working on, I have an interview with David Shirley. I think content creators know who David Shirley are. We talk to him all the time. He also has a great channel. Look him up on Instagram. His paint jobs are awesome. I think he's mostly on Instagram still. But I did over a coffee interview with David Shirley in my kitchen. And we basically talked about his painting techniques and his painting journey. If you ever see, like, he did a great paint job for Lock and Load. He did, I think it was called a single model, but it was definitely a diorama of one of the grave digger models fighting off against a Crix model, and it's definitely like my favorite piece from Lock and Load. We talked about that. We talked about his current Adepticon models. We talked about a bunch of stuff. That should be coming out soon, probably before the battle report, just because it's easier to finish. And then, what's the other video? We got a couple. I've got that Men Off video I'm still working on. Working on a video with Caliban, which will be our next Gator video. And then I'm working on this series in which I build a Crucible Guard. We'll be doing some lore videos. I'm trying to do some lore stuff. Trying to do a lot of shorts because it seems to be the easiest way to get viewers as much as it Hurts my soul as a film professional. Short form has to be the way to go. So look out for that. Honestly, it just comes down to time. I have a quality limit that I have a hard time not hitting. And if I don't hit that, it just takes me longer to get there. I do like the approach more forward with Kador. I so what I do want to do, we have a Lazy Sunday team going to Bokur Brawl. It would be me, Sam the Yeti, who's going to be on our next battle report, Joe Ritchie, who was on here before, who's got an awesome YouTube channel, Joe Ritchie Studios, to watch him paint. Our friend Gabe, who's a great Umbry player. Gabe, Joe, Cory, Sam. Who are we missing? There's one more player. Oh, Ben. One of our guys, Ben, who's a great Dusk player as well. It'll be our first big event, but we want to do, because I'm a little extra with everything I do, we kind of want to do we is me, like an HBO style Road to the Winter Classic documentary pieces where I interview all of them, talk about what armies they're going to play, and we'll slowly, as we get closer to Bokur Brawl, talk about how it feels to get like hyped up for Bokur Brawl. And then when the day comes, I'll get somebody else to bring a camera to Bokur Brawl and just catch the moments. It won't be highly produced because, like, how do you make Bokur Brawl exciting to a lot of people via camera? But like the actual interviews, I'm going to make them super ugly dramatic. So the point of that diatribe was that Nick in the chat said I should shave my mustache on the channel. So I do think if I do that, which, I mean, I will definitely, I'm going to do it. I should do that on channel. And so I think that would definitely fit that series. If I do like a short, just being like, all right, I'm Cory Mafucci and I'm getting ready for Bokur Brawl. Here's the last step, and I shave my mustache. I think that would definitely either be part of a short or a long form. Or good idea, Nick. I'm gonna lean into this. We are getting there. It is scratchy, but I feel like I can always fix that. It's like the first thing that when I come back into painting is the first thing that I have to get back into is just how to smooth my paint out. If I'm not on camera, I'm doing 1,000 layers, which is why it takes me so long to paint. That's why my stuff isn't really scratchy. Yeah, Ben. I remembered Ben, Nick. I'm not that bad. Just a little technique that I'm trying to employ here. When highlighting or like bringing my shadow color up to my mid-tone, what I am trying to do, and I don't always do it, but I try to be wary of it, is I do always try to pull my pigments up. Just a little tidbit for people who are newer to painting. If you pull your pigments up to the higher point where you want them to settle, like I'm starting at the edge of my shadows and pulling them up, then when the paint leaves the brush finally, gets to the top, it will deposit there, which will make that your brightest point because it has the most pigment. So if you're having trouble with highlights or getting your stuff to blend, always pull your pigment up away from the shadow to the highlight. Unless, of course, you're doing the opposite and you're trying to pull your pigment into the shadows, obviously. But pull your pigment to where you're trying to get to. And also, don't do what I've been doing this entire video, and that is scratch over what you've already painted in the last second, because if you can see this video, I have just done nothing but strip off all the old paint. Constantly. Which is fine. I'm being a little self-deprecating today, but of course that's just because I haven't painted in like a month or 3 weeks. So a lot of it's just me getting over myself. And there I go again over the old paint. There's a little bit of lag. Yeah. Tiny bit of a lag. Some of that has to do with where my streaming space is. It'll get better as we do more of these. I just need to get this one off the ground. Sometimes it like slowly gets there. Seeing as I'm going to end this stream probably in the next 10 minutes, I'll have to worry about it next Tuesday. Sorry, guys. If you watched this live stream with me, thank you for tuning in. If you have critiques and thoughts, feel free to comment them in. This will get better every week. So comment them in so I can make it better, you know? I can't actively watch my own live stream while I'm painting, so I don't actively try to just hit all the armor with one level of mid-tone, and we're going to call it a day. Good chance I come back and finish some of this tonight. We'll probably be on Gearheart again next week. In which case we'll just continue where I've left off during the week. Which will hopefully I do a lot of this green armor over the course of the week, and we don't have to look at it again, and I can do some of the cooler details. But you can't not paint green on St. Patrick's Day. It's against the rules. Little low still. I think that's mostly because I'm talking away from the mic. I gotta put the mic here. It's right here. Different mic though. Better mic. Just facing the wrong direction currently. And I ran out of time to put it in a good place. Should really go right here, towards the direction that I'm talking. Thank you, King Slack. Where did my video go? My video cut off? No, we're good. Guys, I'm just going to work my way through the rest of this blue, green, teal mix to a point where I feel good, and then we're going to call it a day. There's probably a place where I shouldn't be using my 4. I've also been painting on it all day, so it's a little frayed. We go down to our 2 brush. Honestly, and like Nick said it just now too, in the chat, it's a weird, I don't want to say it's a maturity thing because everyone has their own style of painting, but the second you get to a point where you start having enough brush control to use bigger brushes, it's a real game changer. It's like using better cameras. You got a fatter belly, the point is generally the same size, you just have to have better control. So if I had any idea, any thought to give to new painters, it's work your way to a bigger brush. And pull your pigments up. And don't scratch over the paint you just laid down. Those 3 things. Work your way to a bigger brush, pull your pigments up, don't scratch off your own work. And together, we can work our way towards Cory having a painted army at Bokur Brawl. For those of you who are tuning in and are watching this, and I keep talking about Bokur Brawl and you don't know what it is, Bokur Brawl is a large team tournament in New Jersey. It's the only thing that'll get me to New Jersey voluntarily. There are like 32 teams, I think, is the official number. Seth's not here anymore, but he was here before. Seth runs Bokur Brawl. 32 teams times 5, that's over like 140 players. Over 150 players. It's a huge tournament. It's 2 days, 3 days. It's a 3-day event, 2-day team tournament. They also have an Iron Gauntlet qualifier. It's just a big celebration of everything that is War Machine, in competition form. All the content creators tend to go. I've only been there once, but I didn't play. I'll be playing this year. But it's nice to see everybody that we've been talking to over the internet. There's so many people there that you can't, it's kind of hard to miss people. So if you can go one day, you should go. Especially because the people who run it are fantastic and really nice. And then after a number of weeks of watching me slog through my list, you can come see it in person. Hopefully it lives up to the video hype. Oh yeah, they jumped up to an extra pod in the SR, the Steamroller Iron Gauntlet for Bokur Brawl. They had to add an entirely new pod, and they were looking, last time I checked, to add another pod if they could. So if you want to sign up, they have a wait list. They sell out pretty quickly, but they do have a wait list. If you wanted to get in, you put yourself on the wait list. There's always a chance, because they've already added to it once and maybe twice by the time I post this. Or I haven't looked at it in a while, but alright. Guys, I think I'm getting to a point of diminishing returns right now. I think we're going to call it a day. Thank you for painting with me. Thank you for listening to me ramble and watching me rename the chat Joe. We did a lot of cool stuff today, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Yeah, we're going to call it a day. I can't go to my face camera because my face camera died. I could do this if I really wanted to. No, let's not do that. Anyways, we'll be here next Tuesday painting the same models. Make sure to like, share this, subscribe to the channel so you get the heads up on the next video, and keep a lookout. This is a lazy Sunday. Maybe keep every day a lazy Sunday, and try hard tomorrow. Cory out.